Hey friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. If you have ever been overwhelmed by your to-do list, this video is for you. So over the years of having this YouTube channel, every now and then a comment will come in that asks, how do you do it all? Or how do you avoid overwhelm? Or how do you keep track of all the different things that you do? Well, hate to burst your bubble, but first of all, I don't do it all and I do get overwhelmed. But over the years, I have definitely learned how to streamline things and identify what to say no to, and identify what needs to be done, prioritized. And so in this video, I'm going to bring you those tips on how I look at my to-do list and break it up into the different buckets of, do this right now, save this for later, that sort of thing. So if that interests you, stick around and let's chat about it. If you're new here, my name is Jordan. I'm a homeschooling mom to 3, living on 3 beautiful acres with my wonderful husband. A health crisis forced us to change the way we think about food. Unfortunately, it also put us in financial hardship. Turns out the solution to both challenges was the same: to live off the land as much as possible. So we started growing our own food, preserving the harvest, raising chickens, rabbits, and more, and cooking from scratch. Together with my dear friend Stacy, who entered the world of food preservation in the crazy days of 2020, we started this channel for people who want real food without the compromise, food security without the fear, and garden wins without guesswork. Together, we're reclaiming the old ways of food stewardship, but with modern conveniences, because there's no need to burn ourselves out. If there's one thing you should know about us, it's that we love Jesus and seek to steward his blessings wisely. If that sounds like you, welcome home. Hit subscribe and come grow with us. Okay, so if you see me looking over here, I have notes to keep me on track so that I don't get too rambly on you. But I have 5 points that I want to make that I've kind of identified the kind of mental steps that I go through when I am feeling kind of overwhelmed. I have this massive to-do list and I'm just like, where do I even start? So the first point really, it takes precedence over all the other ones, which is why I put it at number 1. It doesn't matter what's going on in all of the other points that I'm going to be talking to you about. If this first one, the conditions are right for this first one, it trumps all the others. So the first one is my rule of procrastinate 3 times. And what I mean by that is I allow myself to procrastinate and put off something 3 times before I make myself do it. Now, not every task gets procrastinated 3 times. It's just a safety net that I have built into my life to make sure that things get done that I don't necessarily want to do. So one of the digital assets that has really benefited me is an app called the To-Do app. It's spelled Teuxdeux. And it's both on my phone and on my desktop, and they are synced. I have tried online planners, I've tried Google Calendar, like a lot of the different popular things out there. Nothing has worked for me like this To-Do app. It is paid. I think it was like, I want to say $20 for the whole year. So you pay it once, you have it for a year. And the key thing for me is that it automatically moves tasks from that you don't exit off, that you don't check off. It automatically moves them to the next day. So the tasks are always rolling over for you without you having to manually move them or without you having to write them in if you're doing a written planner. If I don't check that box, it's getting moved to the next day. So I have that rule where I will allow that to move 3 times before that 4th time it moves onto my priority task list. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's something that doesn't really seem that important, there's obviously something about it that is bothering me mentally, like it's weighing on me. It feels like it's going to take too much brain power or too much energy, or it's just something I hate doing. There's obviously something that's making it to where I'm kicking it down the road over and over again. And so once it hits that 4th time, I'm like, nope, it doesn't matter. Even if it seems trivial, it's going on my priority top 3 list. So that's my number 1 rule that takes precedence over all the other ones. And that rule combined with the To-Do app that automatically moves things for me has been such a relief and help to me to not forget things. I cannot keep everything in my brain. That is the number 1 source of overwhelm for me. and probably a lot of people, is when you're trying to remember so many things. You're like, you have 10 or 15 things. It's like, I can't forget this. That's the number one source of overwhelm for me. I just have to get it out of my brain, and that's where I put it. I put it in that to-do app, and that way, once I know it's recorded, I know that it will never go away until I exit off that task. So nice. Okay, so that's number one. It kind of dictates all the others. So number two is, if it will spoil or be ruined, it automatically gets my attention. So quickly, I briefly mentioned my priority list, and that's like your standard top 3 things. You know, every productivity guru will say, you know, identify your top 3 things and only focus on those, which is a great piece of advice because, again, it helps to avoid overwhelm. And I have a tendency to think that I can get more done than I realistically can. I do it all the time. Even though I know that about myself, I still do it. I still will ascribe less time than a task actually takes. So having that priority top 3 list per day is also just a boundary that helps me avoid overwhelm. And so when I'm talking about these items, about going onto my priority list, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying it automatically gets moved to my top 3. So again, if I procrastinated 3 times, the 4th time, it automatically gets put on that top 3 list. And then number 2, I said if it will spoil or be ruined, it will automatically go to my top 3 list. Now, it might not go into my top 3 list today, depending on how long I have before that food spoils. But I've been in this lifestyle long enough, and growing garden and preserving food long enough to know that, hey, I've got about 3 days on that, or I've got about 7 days on that. And so I might not prioritize it in my top 3 today, but I will go into my to-do app and put it in my top 3 for Thursday or next Tuesday or something like that into that timeline. Because that's, you know, nature has deadlines, has built-in deadlines, whether we like it or not. Food does, you know, as soon as you pick it fresh, the clock starts ticking. And as frustrating as that can be sometimes when you're in the midst of a summer harvest and everything is coming in all at once. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to have that built-in timeline, because I don't really have to think about, well, should I do this or should I do that? It's like, no, that's going to spoil in 2 days. I have to do that now. This one's not going to spoil for another week, so I can put that off till next week. So because our lifestyle does revolve heavily around growing our own food and preserving it, in my life, that is the number 2 thing. If it will spoil, if it will ruin, like be wasted, be bad, it will automatically secure a spot in that top 3 priority list. Okay, so number 3 is also related to our lifestyle, which is the garden. And so number 3 is things that will affect the future. And a lot of times this goes into garden work. So if I don't do something today or next week, is it going to stop me from doing XYZ in the future? Is it going to take away that option for me in the future? So some things that kind of go on that list is kind of obvious, but getting seeds planted in the ground when they need to, transplanting transplants when they need to go into the ground, because that's weather dependent. So number 3 kind of is very closely tied to the weather. If you grow food to any scale or even a small scale, you know that the weather kind of dictates when you need to do things. So that's kind of on this list. Harvesting, obviously, pruning, starting new seedlings, covering plants before a freeze. Some of those tasks are very monotonous. I don't know what it is, but I do not like going and covering plants with frost cloth. Like, it's just something that I really don't like to do, but at the same time, it's time bound, because if I don't do it before Tuesday when a frost is expected, I'm going to lose that crop that I've invested 3 months in. So again, it falls under that category of things that affect future me, things that affect the garden. So that is kind of, what's that, number 3, that I put every task through a filter. These are kind of like filters, and I think of them as filters in my brain, and I just go through each task and I'm like, okay, have I procrastinated 3 times? Is this going to spoil or ruin? Is this going to affect future me? And those filters help me prioritize tasks. So the 4th, we'll just call them filters. The 4th filter is tasks that prevent future work. So that sounds very similar to task number 3, but task number 3 is very garden related. And task number 4 is more like things that I'm doing. I have projects around the property, projects that are in my kitchen, projects that are just in my home, where if I don't do this today, is it gonna make it to where I'm super delayed on this future project? So one of the things that I wrote down is restocking my pantry mixes and my meals in jars, which is, it's really easy for me. It doesn't take a lot of brain power because I have all those recipes written down, and now we have cookbooks in them, which yes, I do own my own cookbooks, and I use them all the time. But if I don't have those pantry mixes prepared, then I no longer can enjoy quick and easy meals on busy weeknights, because now if I'm out of my bacon ranch pasta salad mix, and on a Sunday after church, that's typically when we do a pasta salad. If we're going to be doing one, it's going to be on a Sunday after church, because I like to not cook on Sundays as much as possible. And if I don't have that mix, I no longer have a super quick and easy low effort meal for me on a Sunday, and then I'm stuck having to do work and cook on Sunday when I really don't want to. So that's a filter that everything kind of goes through. Another one was just cleaning things immediately after using them. I cannot stand being ready, like I am mentally ready, I have the physical energy, I am motivated, let's get this task done, and then I go to start that task and I realize I can't because both of my sinks are full to the brim. I'm looking at my sinks right now, real quick. For those of you who told me, just throw out that balsamic nasty molasses jam, I did it. And my sink is proof. I have so many empty jars where I threw that out. If you know, you know. On a recent video, I did a kind of a canning pantry, state of the pantry tour, and I told you about how disappointed I was that I made this terrible, awful jam. I substituted maple for molasses. It was a terrible mistake, and I've just been keeping it in my pantry, hoping that someday I would find use for it. And so many of you commented, they're like, girl, just throw it out. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to throw it out. So thank you for that kick in the pants. But I'm looking at my sink, and both sinks are full to the brim of canning jars. So if I was going to make, I don't know, a pizza crust for pizza tonight for supper, it would be very difficult for me to do it because I have to wash all these dishes before I can have room to do the work that I need to do at the sink, or do, you know, just whatever it may be. So things that fall on that list is a big one, is cleaning things immediately whenever possible, because it truly does affect my future me and my future ability to accomplish tasks, which is a big one. Okay, fifth and final filter is things that require the most mental energy. Is there a way that I can piggyback them? Like, are there 2 tasks that require a lot of mental energy on my part? And is there any way that I can combine them somehow and tackle those 2 things that I really don't want to do, or that are going to be really, really brain power intensive or physical energy intensive? How can I piggyback those? And you hear me talk about brain power a lot, and I feel like sometimes I can sound kind of high maintenance, and maybe I am, I don't know. But just very brief history lesson. In 2017, I was diagnosed with a chronic illness, and even before 2017, it was, my body had I had 4 hours a day to where I could get things done. Both physical energy and the mental ability to think through things, to think critically, to plan, to brainstorm. I only had about 4 hours, and I know that's specific, but that really was what it was like. It's like my body has an internal clock where that 4th hour would hit, and it was like, nope, I'm out. You're done. You're not doing anything else. And so I had to, during that season, I had to learn how to be absolutely ruthless with my time, which was very difficult walking through that season. But looking back on it now, I'm actually extremely thankful that I had that training. I feel like it was training, and a skill that I developed. I was forced to develop it, but by God's grace, He gives grace. It's new each day, and it matches, is more than enough, more than sufficient for my weakness. Praise the Lord. but he carried me through that time and allowed me to learn things during that season that benefit me today. And one of those is being a kind of ruthless with my time and what I say yes to and what I say no to. Because we are finite and we have a limited amount of time. And I know personally that we have a very limited amount of brain space as well, along with what our physical bodies can handle. So what are some examples of those? Like making pantry mixes, that's repetitive work. I don't have to think about it. I can just pull out my recipe book, boom, get it. But something like decluttering and organizing the freezer, that takes a lot of decisions. It's not just, follow a recipe and get it done. I have to make the decision about, do I want to can this? Do I want to freeze dry it? Wait, is my freeze dryer even available? Is this freezer burn, or can I get another 6 months out of it? Do I really want to keep this, or should I give it away? Is it past the point of keeping or giving away? Should I just give it to the dogs? There's just a lot of decisions that go into a project, for me at least, that go into a project like deep cleaning out the freezer and organizing it. So that would be something that requires a lot of mental energy on my part. And so a task that I could piggyback on that is, let's say I keep bags of scraps from vegetables and stuff during harvesting in the garden. And let's say when I'm cleaning out the freezer, I come across 5 bags of vegetable trimmings. Well, I can immediately, while I'm cleaning out that freezer, it wouldn't be any big deal to just walk over, dump all of those bags into my roaster oven, cover it up with water, and turn it on low, and boom, I'm done. I've got broth. I've got a batch of broth going. And it could, it can go more than 24 hours just fine. It can go 48 hours. So it's not like doing that requires that I finish it before I go to bed that night. It's totally fine to simmer throughout the night as long as I keep it above that temperature threshold. I think it's like 140 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. It'll be totally fine, and I can do that tomorrow. And so then all of a sudden I've got 2 kind of big tasks that I was able to link together, and within a period of 2 days I've got my freezer deep clean and organized, and I've got a huge batch of broth that it's ready to go onto my shelves. So that's kind of an example. And then I have another note that I wrote here was, if I'm meal prepping my husband's lunches, which is kind of something that I might put off because I just don't really feel like doing it. And it involves a lot of decisions and planning and that kind of thing. And something that I can kind of piggyback on that is that tasks like that keep me in the kitchen for at least an hour. So if I know I'm going to be in the kitchen for an hour, I'll look at my list and say, is there any other kitchen work on my list that needs to be done that I could be doing simultaneously, kind of hands off, while I'm in the kitchen anyway? Like, I have to be in the kitchen for an hour anyway. Let's see what tasks I can group. So like, I might be meal prepping my husband's lunches, and that's my main task, but I could go ahead and look at our meal plan and see if I can rehydrate vegetables for that night's meal, or go ahead and pull out the frozen meat and plop it in the crock pot and get it cooking. Even if it's not the meal that's happening that night, I can have chicken going in the crock pot that I can shred and then bag up, and then I've got 3, 4, 5 pound packages of shredded chicken that makes future meals a lot easier. So piggybacking things that require mental energy, or if I'm going to be in one location for a certain amount of time, I may as well take care of other things that involve that location, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much it. So I've got my, what will spoil, what's going to become a lot harder for future me if I wait, what have I already procrastinated 3 times, what will make tomorrow easier, and what requires the most mental energy that I can piggyback and do at the same time. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. I enjoy chats like these. I hope you do too. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment box below. That's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.